Welcome back to WD Magiccast for the week of August 18th, 2024. This is episode 269. WD Magiccast, the show about the mouse, the Marvels, the galaxy, and beyond. I'm your host, Matthew Graykin. In this week's show, Dave Gallman and I sit down and discuss our most recent outing on the Symphony of the Seas. We were talking about our recent vacation or cruise vacation that we took out of New Jersey and, strangely enough, stopped in Port Canaveral, Florida, which is also known as Orlando, Florida, even though it's not. And we'll get into that about the cruise, what we did, experiences, some of the stuff we didn't do, and a lot of stuff. But we'll get to it, and we'll be breaking it down. Don't forget to join us on the social media, where you can find us pretty much everywhere at WD Magiccast on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads. We are out there at WD Magiccast. Please join the conversation. Give us a like and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can also check out the audio version of this show and some other videos as well. Don't forget to also check out our TeePublic shop, where you get yourself some cool WD Magiccast merchandise. You get something cool and help out your favorite podcast as well. And on that bombshell, on with the show. I know I've mentioned many times that there's several ways to get to Florida, particularly over here on the East Coast. There is the traditional method of the airplane, the other method of driving there. There's the slightly less traditional method of taking the auto train or even just a regular train. But the most, I say, strangest way is cruise ship. Here in New Jersey or kind of northeast area, you have the option of taking a cruise ship to Port Canaveral, the Orlando-based port. It's only about an hour away, that you could sail down there and still get to go to the parks. And someone that was just recently on a journey with me about this, and we've discussed this before, is someone that's no stranger of traveling, no stranger of sometimes traveling with me and putting up with my antics and family, is Dave Gallman. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good and still recovering from the trip.
Yes, absolutely. But I would call it relaxing. I would call it a relaxing trip down to Florida on the cruise ship.
I want to say this is probably one of the most relaxing trips I've had going to Florida in almost forever.
Right. Little windy, but whatever. It was relaxing to me.
See, and the wind, it was strong winds, because it would be going to Florida without a hurricane or two.
Yep.
Yeah. And but I did have a problem with it. I mean, some people, I guess, they might have. It didn't seem like too many people did have issues with the rockiness or the wind. In all fairness, it wasn't as rocky as one would expect it or mentally think about it. If you weren't on the ship, you'd probably think that the ship was really rocking heavy back and forth. And maybe at times it was, but it never felt like that.
Right. I'll give you an example. When we were in a theater one time, the ladies behind us were talking about, oh, the ship is really moving. And I'm like, we are? Like, don't feel like it to me. So I guess, like, if you're new to it and you're not used to that, it may feel like you are. But the ship to me wasn't that. I was on the Celebrity Summit for my first cruise. That thing was moving where you couldn't even walk in a straight line. That's what I call rocking. This was nothing. You felt the swaying, but it was nothing crazy,
Well, that's a much older and a much smaller ship. Just to give everyone some insight, So we left August 9th out of Port Liberty, which is Bayonne, New Jersey. And that's the same day tropical depression storm, formerly known as a hurricane, Debbie was coming through and kind of messing up the weather and stuff. The waves in New York Harbor were pretty choppy. It wasn't smooth and settling. The winds were pretty strong across the ship. So it was, it was moving. We actually ended up having to leave a little bit earlier due to the weather. But I don't know. It still worked out.
Yeah.
We felt that a little bit the next day as well. After that, it was smooth sailing until day
6 or so when Hurricane Ernesto started
chasing after us.
Yeah.
But we got a little choppy then too, but never really posed any real threat to us. We had a little bit of rain the first day. A couple of days we'd get hit with a couple little spots of rain, but no real washout days, no real bad rain days at all. So all in all, it was I thought a very nice trip. So the itinerary initially was. I guess I'll go back to when we booked the trip.
What we were supposed to do, 9-day with four stops. Yes.
Whenever we initially emailed Jackie and said, "Okay, that's this is the
original. Yes.
Yes, the original. Whenever we emailed Jackie, our good friend Jackie York at MEI Mouse Fan Travel, please reach out to her if you're looking for any cruise or Disney World or just any type of traveling needs. She booked us on, it's a 9-day cruise out of Bayonne. They do this every so often because they wanted to shift the schedule. Typically it's a 7-day cruise. We left out of Bayonne, had a day at sea, ended up in Port Canaveral.
Right.
From there we went to Nassau, Bahamas. Then we went to Royal Caribbean's private island, Coco Cay, which is also in the Bahamas. Then we would go down to Labadee, which is their private beach in Haiti.
Right.
And there'll be a day at sea, then go to Haiti, Labadee, Haiti. And then 2 days back up to Bayonne. So 9 days in total. Obviously, Haiti had some other ideas going on. So Royal Caribbean switched that on us. And instead of going to the Haiti side of the island, we got switched to go to the Puerto Plata in Dominican Republic, the other side of the island, which wasn't quite as crazy. So everything else stayed the same. Timing-wise stayed the same. We just Labadee would go to Dominican Republic. So while we are cruising along, this is during the cruise, we get to day at sea, everything's fine. We go to Port Canaveral, which really nice there. The Wonder that we spoke about last year, she says hi.
Yeah.
And from there we went to Nassau. And as we were leaving Nassau, the captain got on the intercom system on the ship and made an announcement that they've been monitoring the weather. Tropical storm Ernesto is going to be forming into a hurricane. It is heading its way to, what was it? I think Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico and all that, yeah.
Which is
getting real close.
Right next to Dominican Republic. And with the current course and plans of the ship, we would end up having to run into Ernesto, the hurricane, which you did not want to do.
No.
And you know what? Can't fault him for that. So unfortunately, we were not going to be able to go to the Dominican Republic. Ideally, he wanted to go back to the ship's, the cruise line's private island. I think I forgot to mention this is Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean's private island, Coco Cay. But the island was booked for the entire week with 2 ships. That's the most that island can handle. So we would end up back in Nassau, where there's 5 other ships, so it would be the 6th ship the following day after Coco Cay, and then we would end up 3 days at sea. Third option would have been spending 4 days at sea, but that would probably become a little much.
Yeah.
Plus, then they would have to reimburse us money.
Yes.
So no one wanted that.
Mm-mm.
And so then we ended up back in Nassau and then spend 3 days at sea, which I actually had no problem with. I enjoyed those 3 days of just relaxing and looking at the beautiful ocean was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Then we ended up back in New Jersey just as we left it, raining.
And apparently the weather was beautiful the whole time we were gone.
Everyone kept on telling me the weather's fantastic here in New Jersey. How's the weather by you? Oh, great. Everything's great too. But if you were following along on the channels, particularly Facebook, you saw that we did go live a couple times while we were on the ship. While I was on the private island, I was trying to go live. I was dealing with the Royal Caribbean's Wi-Fi system because I'm on a private island, so there's no cell service. I wasn't paying international rates for cell service, so relied on their Wi-Fi package, which worked fairly well on the ship, but didn't decide to work quite as well on their own island. There was routers made of coconuts on coconut trees, palm trees around the place. I guess the professor hasn't been there in a while to be able to update them, check on the firmware for the coconuts. So it kept on dropping out. Plus, I don't think the occasional passing storms, not storms, but rain helped out too much. Mm-hmm. But Don, I found Dave.
He found me.
Yes, he was exactly where he said, at the pool bar. Everything's okay. We did bring him back to New Jersey. We somehow dragged him away from the pool bar. Yeah. And everything's going well. But I will be hopefully this week getting those videos onto YouTube as well, and share them out on the rest of the social networks so everyone else can enjoy them. But so that's kind of the summary of everything. Did you have any expectations? This is the third time this is a Oasis class ship, which is one of the larger ships of Royal Caribbean. It's the ones that have a central park and boardwalk on it. It's open air down the middle of it. This is the third time we have been on this class of ship, third different version of this ship. Mm-hmm. Did you have any expectations going onto this ship?
No, excuse me.
Or concerns?
It was more. No, I didn't have any concerns or anything. Since we've already, it was the Oasis and the Wonder. Since we're already on that, it felt like a familiar friend when you popped onto the promenade. It's like, I'm home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was no I need to figure out where things are, because a ship this size can be overwhelming if you don't know the layout. So it takes you maybe 2 days to get the layabouts where everything is, where the restaurants are, where the pools are, where the staterooms are, where the elevators are, but this was like a home away from home. We knew, it's just maybe they changed, like Playmakers, where the bar actually was compared to where it was in the other one, little minor details that you saw. But
the logo shop, instead of being on the starboard side in a larger venue next to Bolero's, is in the smallest venue on port side underneath the staircase.
Right. Yeah.
I guess they never watched Spaceballs. Merchandising. That's where the real money is. Merchandising.
Yeah, that was a small little shop, right? Like
basically, I know we're jumping around here, but so you walk into the promenade, which is a very large open shopping mall, for lack of better description. Mm-hmm. In the middle of the ship, just a straight line. And there's a bunch of different shops and nightclubs there. There's this little round shop that's on all the ships, and it's different on each of the ships. Mm-hmm. This one happened to be the logo shop, which is the Royal Caribbean wear stuff. So their own merchandising. They're putting it in the small store that they have.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea of the size of this store, there is racks around the perimeter of the store. And then there's one round table in the middle. For display. Yeah. That's all you can fit.
Yeah.
With that amount, you could fit about 6 people in that store.
Yeah.
Including the 2 people that work there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why
trapped behind the counter.
When they had and when they had like t-shirt sales or something like that, they couldn't put the t-shirts in the store. They had to put the t-shirts out on racks inside on the promenade.
That's normal.
That's normal.
But the fact that they always had to constantly have 2 of their displays of stuff outside the store because it couldn't fit inside the store.
Yeah, that was the only puzzling thing. So, but yeah, no concerns, no nothing, because I kind of figured I knew what we were getting into. So it was more or less, getting the feel for this ship, getting a feel for the cruise director, just basically that. That was the only thing we really had to get comfortable with. So again, it was and when the Robo Bar opened. That's all I had to.
As soon as we set sail and they started serving, Dave was first in line.
I was there. Try to be. Rock 'em and sock 'em.
First in line. I was last.
Rock 'em and sock 'em. I miss them already.
You're best friends.
So, but no, did you have any, I'm assuming not, right? Did you have any concerns going into this one?
Concerns? No. Other than possibly okay, this is the 3rd time on this class of ship. Is it still going to hold my interest?
Mm-hmm.
How's the entertainment? I heard a lot of high praise that this is one of the more favorite ships in the fleet. Mm-hmm. So kind of just always makes me wonder, okay, what's so much better on this ship versus every other ship we've been on?
Right.
So just those kind of questions. So, just worried about the expectations. I can't say, unfortunately, I agree with saying this is the best ship in the fleet.
Right.
But by absolutely no means was it a bad ship. It's not even like a mediocre ship. It's a really, really good ship, well run. The entertainment was fantastic. The food was really good. And absolutely no complaints whatsoever. Nothing also either just really grabbed me and just like, this is the best one that I've been on ever.
Right.
I mean, again, I don't know how you feel about that, but
yeah, it's similar because I guess with the familiarness of the ship, that could be a detriment as well because you're like, okay, it's the same thing again, in a way, you know what I mean? But it has to have something that's going to blow your socks off so that you're going to remember that. Now, the Oasis could be the favorite because that's the first one you go on, and that's the one you're going to enjoy the most. For me, yes, the Oasis was great, the Symphony was great, but for me, the Wonder, I just don't. It could have been the cruise director Ricky. It could be just the size of the ship and the layout of it, and it was more for me roomier. I may tend to go towards the Wonder as the better ship, but again, It's not a knock on the Symphony. It's not a knock on the Oasis. They're all great ships. It's just your preference. You know what I'm saying? Like I can give those 3 same ships to 100 people, and they'll all have different opinions. So
yeah. And by no means was it a complete carbon copy of the other 2. Each of those 3 ships, there is differences too. On Oasis, there is the Portside Barbecue Restaurant. On Wonder, they don't have that. They have the... I keep on skipping out on the name of it.
The Mason jar?
Yes, thank you. Mason jar. Symphony doesn't have either of those.
No.
Because on the Oasis, that was put in when they amplified the ship, quote unquote, and put that in during a dry dock. Mason jar is on the Wonder from get-go. That was something that they added, and Wonder being their second newest of this class of ship now. And Symphony hasn't gone through a dry dock, so she is as she was whenever she launched, because she only came out in 2018, I believe it is. So there is like subtle differences of it's missing some of the newer stuff that's been put on, but nothing's really outdated and completely old. Like if you looked at the Oasis when she launched 13 years ago now versus what she looks like now, you wouldn't recognize her. That's the deal with the Allure of the Seas, which is just going under dry dock now for $100 million facelift or dry dock, where they're adding in a bunch of the extra stuff that they have now discovered. Okay, people want, like the Abyss slide, not on the Allure. Well, she'll be finally getting that. But that's become a staple on the Oasis class ships. But that started with the Harmony of the Seas, which was the third vessel, Symphony being the fourth. So that's why she has the slides and the other ones don't or didn't. But anyway, it's sort of little differences I was noticing, but entertainment, I think, is one of the things we could speak highest about this on this ship. The Aqua show was phenomenal. The stage show was really good. The two ice shows, the first one was good. The second one was
phenomenal.
Blew my mind away.
Yeah.
Hairspray, I thought they did a nice job with that.
It was great from what I saw.
Hey, you said it was better than Cats.
Yeah, this is true.
The live bands were really good. The parties were fun. Like the laser tag is phenomenal.
Yeah. This was Dazzles. I mean, it could be named differently in the other two ships, but Dazzles was like, for me, stood out this one because my wife was always in there. So I'd go, hey, what are you doing in here? So I'd jump in there. You get a nice chair. You listen to the house band play the music. You just sit there, have a drink, and chill out. I enjoyed my time in Dazzles on this cruise.
Yeah. I think we went a couple of times on Oasis. Wonder, the only time I really went into that same venue was for some trivia. But yeah, I think this time around on this cruise, we utilized that more for actual music venue. It's going there for, listening to the house band, which they did a really good job. The few times that we saw them. It's a nice little club area. 2 floors, has a bar, dance floor, stage for the band to perform on. And they usually find a decent band to play in there, resident band. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, the entertainment in general on this ship was I think really well done.
The only thing I would question about the entertainment would be on the last night. So day 9, they had, if you wanted to do it, like I'm not saying I wanted to do it. They had the hush party or whatever, where you know what I mean, where you put the headphones on and you're dancing in silence or whatever.
Yes,
they had that on the silent disco. Thank you. At like 11 o'clock or whatever it was, 12 o'clock at night on the last night before you need to leave. I'm like, do you realize we got to get up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to get off the ship? Why are you having a party at midnight? Where, I'm like, that should have been like earlier in the week.
Yeah, some of the schedule was a little strange. I can't say I looked to see if it was at any other point, and maybe this was just another time. But some of it I think just fell victim to there was just so much other stuff going on. Things got bumped around.
Yeah.
Like I was speaking to the assistant cruise director. I'm like, absolutely love the laser tag. I wish it was
Yeah.
more than just the 2 nights.
Right.
And she said we would love to do more than 2 nights. Unfortunately, the location of that, which is also the ice skating rink,
It's in the Studio B in the ice rink. Yeah.
is so busy with everything else. There's the two different ice skating shows. There's the free skating. There was the quest,
Crazy quests and stuff.
the crazy quest of adult event. There's there was 2 days of laser tag. There's so much already going on, and then it's going. You have to schedule rehearsals for the skating team and whatnot. So much going on already in that space that you're only able to put it the 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the unfortunate downside of it. As big as these ships are, with how much there's going on, there's only so much space to be able to be doing things.
True.
So that is an unfortunate downside. But like the ice skating shows. The first one I thought was really good. The 1977. Which there's a loose storyline about this time heist, and for some reason I kept on thinking, referring to Doctor Who with it.
Yeah.
The detective is chasing after the bad guy who's stealing stuff throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
It was starting off with the drones flying around, and so that was pretty cool. The second one, the Ice Skate 2.0, which was more just a free skate to music, was just phenomenal. And I was talking to one of the skaters on the last night, and how much they enjoyed it. Unfortunately, he wasn't in Ice Skate 2.0. He usually was, but this was the last day of his contract, so they let someone else skate, and he was taking a month off before he goes to the Mariner of the Seas. But he just appreciate how much he did. I was speaking to the assistant cruise director, and I said how much I enjoyed the second one over the first one. The first one was, again, really good. That's the one you need reservations for. The second one you don't need reservations for, which is I feel better. The better show.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually agreed with me. Speaking of which, shout out to Eric, the cruise director, if you're listening. Hello, how are you doing? Kim, as well, the assistant cruise director. Thank you, guys, for everything that you did. Mm-hmm. I also want to say quick hi to Jeffrey, my room steward. Probably one of the best ones in the fleet that I've ever had the pleasure of dealing with. Thank you for everything, and thank you for fixing Helen's Cody Rhodes figure. Well, after he broke it on the ship.
I agree. My room, I had Ludi, and he was excellent. By far, probably the best out of the three that I've had so far. So,
yeah, that's something else I want to bring up on this ship is that the level of service was all really good. Oh, Miguel at customer service, I was talking with him. He had a more challenging couple talking to him before I dealt with him, but we were just chatting. Really nice guy. Turns out to be, everyone's got a bad day, but even whenever he was having a bad day, he was still very pleasant, very personal to deal with. Mm-hmm. Everyone on the ship was just couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah,
like there was no one, like, even if they were having a bad day, no one seemed to be having a bad day. They, wherever you went, people at the bartenders at the bar giving me fist bumps and just like always always happy, and, just talking away to you. The room stewards, again, just all pleasant and nice, and just like they say hi to you in the hallway and ask you how you doing, where your plans. To the people serving at the restaurant, the waiters, the assistant waiters, the head waiters, all really fun people. Like this one head waiter that we had, and we kept we ran to him at breakfast, and he also ended up being our head waiter at dinner. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the Olympics and soccer, or as he calls it, proper football. So just like that's what really made the difference.
Hmm.
And I think that's probably why this ship gets rated so high. It's just the crew aboard this ship is so personable, just so nice. Um, you know,
And and the thing is too is like they're under a lot of pressure. So
oh,
to keep that uh, level of customer service is phenomenal. Because you gotta realize like we get off the ship by 8:30, 9 o'clock, or between 8:30 and 9:30, everybody has to get off the ship, and then they have to like overhaul the ship in like what 2-3 hours for the next crew to
basically,
come on. You know what I'm saying? And
basically.
that takes an awful lot of work and an awful lot of pressure to get that done.
I it's and these guys and gals work 5 to 7 month contracts,
Hmm.
7 days a week.
A week, yeah.
They don't get a day off. They do get some time off, depending on what their position is, depends on what their work schedule is. But they're working 7 days a week. Maybe one day they'll get some time off that they can get off the ship at one of the islands and walk around
Hmm.
and just kind of stretch their legs and whatnot. But you know, someone I was talking to, they have 5.5 month contracts. Some of them they were 7 or 8 months contracts. They're on that ship and working all the time,
Hmm.
and to be that pleasant 4 months into a contract,
Right. Yeah.
God bless them. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you got to give it to them. I work
I
a
would
six
love
day
to
week.
find someone that does your job, Dave. That's that pleasant.
Exactly. 6 days in a row in the heat and everything. I'm cranky by the end of the day. I'm not smiling and
No, he's getting the heat, the rain, whatever they're doing. I mean, they were just having a good time
yeah.
and enjoying it.
And even to see
Again,
it at the end of the trip or towards the end of the trip in the main dining hall, when you see the celebration for all the cooks and the waiters and stuff like that, that's a cool moment because you celebrate them, for the hard work that they do, and I appreciate that kind of stuff. So I'm glad they keep doing that for each ship so far. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Something else I got to witness on this sailing. I've heard of it on the other ones. I can't say I've witnessed it, and I got to just by chance. I happened to be in the right spot to be able to see this going on, which was the salute to servicemen,
Hmm.
which was beautiful and heartwarming and just really special that they do this. And so it's on the promenade, which again is a very large open section in the middle of the ship. They had a massive American flag flying for the U.S. Soldiers, which had to been stretched from the ceiling, and I had to duck under, walking under it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, you had the rising tide bar, which is a bar that goes up and down from the
Hmm.
deck 5, which is where the promenade proper is, to up to deck 8, which is Central Park above that. Um, that was about halfway. They had all the officers of the ship on there. The
Mm.
captain gave a speech. They had a singer singing the national anthem. They had two large tables with cupcakes that were designed as the American flag. And like I said, this was a salute to all the servicemen and women. They also had a moment of silence for those who unfortunately never came back. It was just really touching and really beautiful.
Hmm.
Also, keep in mind that majority of the people who work on this ship aren't American.
Hmm. Yeah.
They come from all over the world. I was talking to one. I apologize. I don't even remember where I saw him, but it was one of the workers there, and I noticed that he was from the Ukraine. I said, "Oh, I hope your family's safe and hope everyone's well." He said, "Well, thank you," and he appreciated it. He said, "Fortunately, his family's on the other side of the country, so away from the fighting, so everyone is good. But just still appreciated just the same. So it was nice talking to him. And then one of the servers at Playmakers, who was from the Dominican Republic. I'm like, oh, you must be upset that we're not going there, because that's you have a moment to get stopped by your home country. And he's like, yeah, unfortunately, yes, he wishes he could, but every so often they do head back to the Dominican Republic, so he gets to enjoy it at those points in time. But does miss the fact that they won't be able to go, but also understood it was for the safety of the ship, and he'd rather be safe than
yeah,
spend a couple hours at home.
Yeah, no, I'm very grateful that we changed ports, but obviously we when it happened, I was hoping for another day in Coco Cay, but like you said, they only could fit 2 ships in that port, so it was booked up. So, but it was just weird seeing when we got back to the Bahamas. It was just weird seeing 6 ships like docked all there, and I kind of got a little I found it funny. I think it was the second time we were there where you had our massive ship. And there was another massive ship, but the little tiny ship in the middle. Yeah. And that's when it really hits home on how big the Symphony actually is, when you see the little smaller version next to it.
So we had the second time in the Bahamas, in Nassau. Mm-hmm. Behind us, directly behind us, was the Carnival Sunshine. Mm-hmm. Over to that was the MSC Seashore,
something like that. Yeah.
Next to her was the Disney Magic. Mm-hmm. Next to her was another MSC ship that I cannot pronounce the name, Margarita, something like that.
Yeah.
And next to that was the Carnival Glory.
Yeah.
The Sunshine, being the smallest ship, and probably one of the older ones, I think the only be outdone by the Magic. Magic was the oldest ship in port there that day. But by no means the smallest, probably the second smallest. But she still looks very well kept up to date. But the Sunshine tells an older ship, and definitely the smallest, and I felt bad for the people getting off that ship. Oh, this is such a big ship. I mean, there's so much to do with this ship. Oh, my gosh, look at that thing.
Right. But to your point, like you were saying, that some people don't like the bigger ships. They prefer the smaller ships, but,
Yeah, that is true. There's all ships of all different sorts of stuff. So it's just interesting to see. Like you said, you pulled the port, or the first time we were there, we were next to the other Royal Caribbean ship, the Enchantment of the Sea. Enchantment of the Seas.
I think it was Enchantment,
yeah. And your daughter goes, I go to show her, we're up at the Windjammer, which was deck 16. Mm-hmm. And we're looking down, and I mean, not even like slightly down, several decks down is where that ship heads. She goes, why is that ship so small? So, well, she wasn't small in 1995 when she came out.
Yeah, when they built her. Yep. Yeah, we're still playing the we're still moving game over here now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
No, Dave, we're not. Yes, that barge has moved. No, Dave, it hasn't. You have.
And no, I wasn't drinking. It was too early. It was breakfast time.
Yeah, I had the coffee in.
Yeah.
No. Somebody else.
Yeah. God, sorry. No, I was going to say, the ship didn't disappoint because there was so much stuff to do. All you had to do was pop open the app. If you were at an activity, you wanted to see something else is going on, 9 times out of 10, there was like 4 different options going on at, like, say, the 1 o'clock hour, 2 o'clock hour, 3 o'clock hour. They loaded it up to keep your day. If you wanted it hectic, you can try to get all that stuff in. If you just wanted to chill, all those options were there for you up at the, on the pool decks and stuff. So you're getting your money's worth on these as long as you are willing to make the effort to take advantage of everything that it offers.
Yes. You really can make it your vacation. If you want to spend every day up on the pool deck and hang out at the pool, by all means. We did that.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were up the pool more often than we were. I think we only went up 2 days. It's got 3 water slides that the boys enjoyed going down. I would go down with them. It's got the 2 racer slides and 1 champagne glass slide. There is a kids splash zone, water parkish type thing. We did not do that. There's a saltwater pool, freshwater pool, and a sports pool. The sports pool, they would do adult volleyball and some other things going on. Mr. Sexy Legs competition, the belly flop competition.
Wait, did they have the belly flop? Because I did not see that.
They do. They traditionally do. To be honest, I want to say yes.
Because I was looking forward to seeing that.
The Mr. Sexy Legs?
It might be Sexy Legs. Because I remember seeing a belly flop, but it might have been the Wonder. Because my daughter didn't want to see it, and I'm like, I'm getting out to watch it, so you're coming with me. and we watched it. She ended up having a good time with that. I love that stuff. But I would constantly look at the app. Now, I could have missed it, but I was looking forward to a belly, especially 9 days. You got to have a belly flop contest. Come on.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the other thing. They dropped the ball on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say yes. I mean, moving on, that there's also a basketball court.
Yep.
That they also do soccer, and boys did age appropriate soccer. So I mean, it was like 5 to 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, or something like that. 5 to 12, I think it was. 7 to 12. And then they have a teen one, and then they have adult. Same thing with basketball, pickleball, volleyball. So they got a bunch of things going on there too. You got the surfing, miniature golf, which we did that.
Yeah, the enclosed ping pong tables, which is key. Because I think on the Oasis, the Oasis is the one that didn't have it. So every time you'd hit the ball, the wind would like send your ball going down the track.
Yeah, they were more towards the side, so they were still getting some wind across the top.
Right.
But they put them in a smarter place on this ship in the water. And then there's the teen area, which we avoided like the plague.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The buffet, the Windjammer. The food was good up there. A little crowded on the seating, but I didn't think quite as bad as the Oasis, strangely enough, even though it's the same size.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what time you go to it, too. You know what I mean? Like, if you go at the wrong time, it's going to seem like a madhouse. But it's in a way, it's kind of hard to judge when the best time to go there. You just, all right, we're going to Windjammer. Let's hope we can get a seat. That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, pretty much. But I would say there was a nice variety of table sizes, because we were a group of 9, and we were able to, the one time that we had dinner up there, able to find a seat. The day that we got on was a little more challenging, but everybody's their uncle's there.
Yeah.
So it's a little crazy, but it's a buffet. I mean, what do you want? The variety is good, though. There's a lot of variety of different type of foods available on there.
Mm-hmm. The solarium. That's
the solarium, which we did get to spend too much time in, but that's the adult area. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Which it has the bridge wings, which we spent the one night hanging out on a bridge wing.
Yep.
But dude, you know what? That was really nice.
It was. I'm only laughing because I'm thinking about the guy asking what the other boat was, but.
So, you, me, and this other person that was traveling with us, let's call her the fairy godmother.
There you go.
Was hanging out on the bridge wing. It was about 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
This is the first night, so there's some wind, there's some clouds going on, but where we were standing, we weren't dealing with the wind too much, and we were
Yeah.
just talking and just taking in the view. Which, if you've never been in the middle of the ocean or Caribbean, at the middle of the night on a ship and just looked out, you're missing out because it is kind of awe-inspiring that you see absolutely nothing, but you see so much
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're standing up there just talking. I loved how you brought up the Titanic.
Well, because like to your point that you just said, your crew you see nothing. So my question was, how do they see where they're going? Because it's absolutely black, and they don't have the headlights or anything on the front of the ship like you have on a car to see what's in front of you. So I can see why that accident happened, because you can't see anything. It's completely dark. But if you look up, you can see the beautiful stars. So don't look ahead on the ocean. Just look up at the beautiful stars. You'll be fine.
Because the ocean's pitch black, the sky is pitch black. You kind of can't really see where the two meet. It's just darkness, and then you get to see all the beautiful stars, and you cannot see, depending where you live, I guess. But for the most part, you can't see that anywhere else unless it's pitch dark. Mm-hmm. It's just spectacular. And then this one gentleman comes stumbling out. He goes, "Are that ship going to be following us the entire time?" And we're just looking at him like, what ship are you talking about? The one up there with the lights. Go walking over to the next to this gentleman. He said, "Those lights right there?" He said, "Yeah, that ship has been following us all day." I said, "That's our bow, sir. That's the front of our ship." Oh my gosh, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. See that big H? That's for the helicopter in case it needs to come here.
Then he proceeded to take pictures of the starry sky using the flash on his phone.
Yeah.
Hint to all of our listeners, both of you, don't use the flash on your phone when you're trying to take pictures of the night sky.
Hey, he was living his best life, man.
Oh, he was definitely taking every dollar of that drink package in the first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's also casinos on the ship. What I thought was interesting on this ship is that there's 2 casinos.
Oh, you should show me that. There's the what was
there
it?
There was the regular casino, which
had
this smoking and not smoking section amongst the same floor area, so the smoke goes there anyway. Mm-hmm. This was the problem I had with every restaurant in the 80s. But then there's a separate annex casino that was completely smoke free, mm-hmm. which on the other ships is a nightclub.
Ah, okay. Because the nightclub is usually the attic, right?
No, the attic is the comedy club. Those were the jazz clubs.
Oh, I got you. Yep.
That was there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So the ship that had that, which was interesting. Yeah, so just a lot of nice little areas that you could go on this ship and just kind of hang out and relax. Pizza till 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
You can't. And strangely enough, you wouldn't think for mass-produced pizza is as good as it is.
It's
in my mass-produced. We actually did find out how many they make, Dave. Take a guess.
You did find out?
Yes.
Per day?
Per day.
Per day, I don't know, but it's got to 2,000 to 3,000 pizzas.
Keep going.
5 to 6.
Keep.
10.
Go.
15.
Under.
14.
12. Over 12,000.
Wow.
12,000 pizzas in a day.
I believe it. If you see them fire them up, and what's amazing is that it's rare that there's hardly any. When a pie is been pieced out, they have another one to replace it right away, which amazes me. That amazes me that you're not really waiting, a significant amount of time for them to cook the pie to bring it out to cut it up. It's basically being cut up right as soon as one pie leaves. So Cue to their ovens for being hot enough to cook those things that fast.
They was it 6 or 8 ovens, I think
something like
they
that.
have there.
Yeah.
That they're just like putting pies in and pulling them out, and guys cutting them up, and
if you think if you're saying pizza at 3:00 in the morning, you've never been on a cruise ship, because you go there at like 12, 1 o'clock, you'll see a line.
Oh yeah,
100 deep of people trying to get pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I was amazed. Like it's 12:30. Yeah. The line is longer now than it has been all day.
Yeah. That was that one night. You were like, okay. I was like, I'm getting a slice. You're like, oh, this is a long line. I'm going to go upstairs, get my cup. I'll come back down. The line will be shorter. When you got back down, the line was longer.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're coming from New Jersey, New York pizza, so we know what pizza is supposed to taste like. This was pretty good.
Yeah, I had zero issues with that pizza.
I can go for some right now.
Yeah, I know.
They always offer cheese, pepperoni, and vegetarian, and then there was a fourth option that they usually switch around.
Yeah, I forget what it was, like meat lovers or barbecue chicken
the barbecue chicken one. Oh, that was so good. There was the meat extremist, the carnivore they called it.
Carnivore. There you go. Mm-hmm.
And then some, the Americana, which was basically an everything pizza.
Yeah.
Like a supreme pizza. So a bunch of different ones, but
and there's no like Boleros, On Air, Schooner Bar. There's all kinds of places.
On Air, which is the karaoke
bar. Yeah, there's all kinds
Boleros,
of places.
which is the Latin bar.
Yeah,
Latin club.
Yeah, so whatever is your interest, there's plenty of places to hang out, have a drink, whatever. Enjoy the scenery, listen to music. It puts you in a
piano bar, which is the scooter bar. Right. There's also the English pub, which has someone on a guitar singing and playing, which and they're good quality performers.
Yeah.
You had Playmakers, which is a sports bar, which has all the different a lot of the different sports stuff going on. It's like international, so you see a lot of different things going performing. So no shortage of entertainment. I do want to quickly talk about our cabins, because we each had slightly different cabins. We all had balconies.
Yep.
Yours was in the boardwalk section. Mine was in the Central Park, and then Fairy Godmother and my daughter were in a ocean view outside cabin. So ours were inside the ship, strangely enough, facing in, but it's still outside. So how was yours?
It was fine. Like, it's same spot that I've kind of been in last year on the Wonder, that basically the same spot, just on the opposite side of the ship. I had a good view. I was on deck 12. I had a good view of the Aqua show, so I could watch that. We saw it the one time, but if in case they're out there playing or practicing, I could see the Aqua Theater from there. Full view of everything. People going into Johnny Rockets, the carousel. I could see the water trail in the back. So I love the boardwalk view from there. I did an ocean view on the celebrity ship that I went on the one time. That was good enough. But we like the people watch. So I love the boardwalk view.
Yeah.
The bathrooms are a cruise ship bathroom. It's small. So you're gonna have fun taking a shower regardless of what size you are, because it's tiny.
You pretty much can wash your hands, go to the bathroom, and take a shower at the same time.
Yeah.
We had the Central Park view, which is the Central Park, self-describing. It's a park in the middle of the ship. Mm-hmm. Which was nice. Strangely enough, I thought it was a little louder than it was when we stayed at the boardwalk. And here's my reasoning. During the day, there's a cross section at the pools that goes over the middle of Central Park. That's where the live band plays. That sound filters down into Central Park. At night, they have... Now, this also is particular to the part of Central Park I was staying in. Live music playing underneath this glass canopy that amplifies the music, which was right outside my balcony. The other thing I was mentioning, and I mentioned this to you and also the fairy godmother that one night that we were sitting outside there at late at night, is that Central Park has 4 walls and an overhang. So the sound is trapped in there.
It's trapped in the middle. Yep.
And so it will feed into the rooms a little bit easier than it does in the boardwalk, which only has 3 walls and a much further distance to the overhang.
Yeah.
So it, not that it was awful, and of course it wasn't going on in the middle of the night. It's just during the daytime. If you're trying to take a nap or something, there's music permeating the room a little more. But it was nice to sit out on my balcony, eat breakfast, and just stare out into this luscious, park area. You kind of forget that you're on a cruise ship.
Yeah. That's the amazing part of it. I mean, and plus the amount of people that are on the ship. You're thinking, oh, it's gonna feel like I'm crowded in a nightclub or something like that. It's really not. Depending on, if you're getting out of a show, it's gonna be crowded because you got a few hundred people trying to get out. But once everybody spreads out, it to me it's fine because again, there's so many activities to do. You don't have to worry about that. But I lost my train of thought.
But yeah. For a ship that has about 6,000 people, not including the workers, on it, it doesn't feel. Most of the time, you're not shoulder to shoulder with people.
Right.
The only time that you will run into being a little more crowded is, again, if you're going into a show that has reservations, people line up early and stuff like that. Getting out of a show, which is no different than if you went to a movie theater that was packed, if you're going to a Broadway show, and you're exiting and everyone else is exiting at the same time. It's no different. So don't blame it on the ship.
Yeah, no.
If there was an event going on, yes, it's going to be a little more crowded because it's an event, so people would partake in that. But for the most part, during the day, it's just it's spread out. It doesn't feel that overcrowded. I mean, for the most, sometimes I would be walking along and there was hardly anyone around.
Yeah. The only, I mean, if you want to call it frustrating or whatever, the only frustrating part that could be, but that's on basically all the ships, is the elevators. Because there's people trying to get places, and 9 times out of 10 when the door opens, there's going to be a packed elevator, and you just got to wait for the next one, So
and people wonder why a lot of times they take the steps.
Right. That's what I get frustrated after a while. I'm like, I'm taking the steps. But I got my wife and my daughter who don't like taking steps. And I'm like, well, I'll see you. If we're going down, I'll see you at the bottom.
Yep.
I'll meet you when you finally get down there.
But yeah. So just, I guess, to wrap it up, what was... I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase this. I don't want to say disappointment, but what was one of the low points of the trip? If there is one.
That's a good question. If it's out of their control. So, but I'll say this because it is out of their control. The Labadee, I was expecting to go there because it was a different port. I wanted to go there and experience that. We did have a zip line booked. We weren't able to do that. And then it gets switched to Puerto Plata, did a little research on that, was looking forward to going out into that little, the pier area that they have out there, the shopping centers and the lazy river, and not to be able to go. Again, it's no fault of their own. It's because of the weather. That would be, I think, because we were just disappointed that we had 2 ports 2 different ports that we never been to were taken away because of, situations out of our control. So that to me would probably be the low port.
What would be the high point?
The high point, I did enjoy the entertainment. The entertainment has to be the entertainment. The Hero, the 2 ice skating shows. I heard that Hairspray was good.
You saw a few minutes here or there.
The entertainment and just the overall customer service of the ship. They never cease to disappoint in that aspect.
For me, I guess a low point. It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I came up with it. I wish I had a better response. I
wish we had a sunnier day in the sail away.
Well, yeah, the sail away. Yeah, that was a little bit of a disaster because I never heard that the announcement saying that we were leaving. Supposedly there was one, but I never heard it. Mm-hmm. And then it was, oh yeah, by the way, the sail away party is now going to be inside at 4:00, whatever it's 4:03.
Right.
But that was weather related, everything. So that kind of led to that disaster. Mm-hmm. This may sound a little strange in some of the merchandising. So there's always a t-shirt sale on mm-hmm. these ships for the most part. So it's, in this case, it was 2 for $30.
Right.
On the Wonder, and I think even on Oasis, there was ship branded stuff included in that. Mm-hmm. This time there was all generic stuff like the shirt I'm currently wearing. Mm-hmm. There wasn't anything like really specific to the ship or like really eye catching. There was some stuff in the actual shop. And one of the things I thought was cool is now that they have there's one of the major sponsors to Inter Miami FC, was soccer team, MLS soccer team, which Lionel Messi, who is the icon of the seas, the Godfather. So they had the jerseys there for sale. They were still $90+ for those jerseys.
Oh wow!
Which is kind of the going rate. I was hoping they would be a little bit cheaper on the ship because of everything. I was also expecting it. I saw a lot of kids walking around with Lionel Messi Inter Milan jerseys, Inter Miami jerseys. They didn't sell those on the ship. They only sold just the generic ones with no name on the back. So, yeah, some of the merchandising I thought was a little in your watches. Like on the other ships, they've had a better selection.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I love the watch that I ended up getting because it was, it was more of a style fit watch for my, whatever fancy clothes I could wear or whatever. But I'm with you on that. I would normally eye up like Star Wars or Marvel or some kind of like cool like superhero watch.
Right, there was very limited amount.
Very little, yeah. If anything, there were ones that I saw last year, that maybe didn't they didn't move them last year, so they're trying it again this year. So yeah, I hear what you're saying on that.
And then something I think I explained to you was not that I'm promoting alcohol, but their Malibu releases cruise line limited edition bottles. Mm-hmm. They had them on the ship, but they were only available for use of the bar services on the ship. So the bars had them to use, but you could not, as a cruiser on the ship, you could not get one. They wasn't available in the duty free shop. And there was no way for you to get it from the bar.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So it's a cool wrapped bottle. The design on it is cool. It's a limited edition. It's just for if you're on a ship. Mm-hmm. Somewhere that got mixed up because the bar selection, or has its own supply, has its own stock, and the shop has its own stock. They are two totally different things. And for whatever reason, the shop only had regular bottles.
Mm.
So yeah, so a couple of issues with the merchandise things. Unlike the Oasis, I was able to get my ship model, so I am very happy about that. That's
Yes.
one thing I collect is the models of the ship. I know I'm glad that you're now getting into that.
Yeah, I got the two now.
Two and counting.
Another dust collector. Nah, I love them. They're cool because it's a collection.
It's a very nice memento of the the ship that you you're on. So
and thanks to you. Yeah, we got it as soon as we got on the ship. My wife was like, "They got them. We got to get it before they sell out." I'm like, "Well, there goes my onboard credit real quick now."
Yeah, which was funny because my parents said wherever they were on the ship, there was a very small selection of them.
Yeah, now there was a bunch of them on there. I thought
I saw a lot every day, so I don't know. Yeah, but so that would be my downside, low point of the ship. The high point, besides the good company that I was with, was definitely the entertainment. Entertainment and the staff altogether on the ship. Just phenomenal. Really nice, really personable. Just some of the nicest people I'd see. Very pleasant, very helpful. Couldn't have done anything more. You had a question, they tried to help you out. So.
And it's not just
the shows were just phenomenal,
right? And it's not just the main shows because we didn't really touch on it, real quick. You got the balloon drop on day one, the 70 shows, the 80 shows. I think they had a Caribbean night, and they had a 50s and 60s night. So those shows are added to the event of the whole thing. There's so much. That's what we mean by those shows. It's not just the main shows you got to reserve. There's always something going on. So, yeah.
So, all in all, anything else you want to add or anything we forgot?
Nah, I think we covered it all.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on board with this adventure with us, Dave. And thank you for coming on and discussing this. We will be talking soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Don't forget to join the conversation again on our social media networks where we're found very much everywhere at WD Magicast, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. I want to thank you for your time. I know how little time we all have. The fact that you get to spend some of this time together with us means a lot to me, a lot to us here at the WD Magicast family. Please leave a rating review on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. That helps other people find out about the show. The more rating reviews that we get, the more they will help promote the show. We have all 5-star reviews right now. Keep them coming. We always could use more. Or just share out a link on your favorite social networks and tag us along with it so we can thank you personally. But let other people know. Check out this episode. Check out this show on the social networks. The more people involved, more people listening, the better. Won't believe in a big Disney family, and so do I. Don't forget to subscribe to the show while you're at it. This way you always know when new episodes are posted. And while you're at it, consider becoming a premium subscriber. Really help the show out. You can do this over at Spotify podcast/support. Links to all of that, plus our wonderful TeePublic shop and our social networks are all in the show notes. Because remember, this show is brought to you by listeners like you. Whatever you're facing out there, whatever dark times are surrounding you or weighing you down, never give up. Never give in on yourself. Be your own hero. Let your light shine for the entire world to see, because you are special. You are unique. There is no one else like you, and the world needs someone like you. Someone out there needs your help. You may not realize it. You may not ever know how much you mean or how much a simple, small act that you have done has changed the world of somebody else. And now I'd like to end this week's show with a quote from Walt Disney himself. The way to keep children out of trouble is to keep them interested in things. Lecturing to children is no answer to delinquency. Preaching won't keep kids out of trouble, but keeping their minds occupied will. That's Walt Disney. Thank you again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you next time.